start the protocols with the chairman, Nicholas. Thank you very, very much for being here with us, for everything that M-Pesa Foundation does for us. We don't take it for granted. I also want to thank all the partners, UNFPA, AMREF, JPIGO, all the partners that are with us here today. Thank you, thank you. I don't want to forget my own GAF. Where are the GAF representatives? Charity, Gerald, and all the committee members that made it today. Can you just come and stand behind me? GAF is the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and we are the ones who got these beautiful t-shirts for you, your water, your soda, your media coverage. And I'm really proud that I'm a patron because being elected by you, for those of you who voted for me, thank you. For those of you who didn't vote for me, you're with me till 2027, and then we'll see beyond that. But we're here for such an important job. We're here to celebrate the achievements and to bring awareness to fistula. And I think as a country, with Kenyatta National Hospital and the leadership, you know, all of you, you know, I saw Sharon Korir appreciate the nurse who handled her when she came here. I saw a survivor, Nifa here, who I call a champion, a warrior now, that came out and gave her testimony, her husband, and we also met another husband in the ward. And for me, that is just showing that as a country, we are dealing with an issue that is not just in Kenya. This day, tomorrow, which we're celebrating today, is celebrated is recognized in the entire world. When I say celebrated, it's celebrated, recognized, because we show that we have stood up to be counted, to recognize that there is a problem, and we are here to solve that problem together. So this is my team from the GAF. I will not introduce all of them, but we've got the Charity, who's the AI holder, and the coordinator from GAF. We've got Jared, he's the chair, Cecilia is the vice chair, and the rest of them, Mumbi, I haven't seen you for a while, represents Badare, and Wamaiva, the Goreti North, Eric, West, Selma, and Roysambo, Grace, and yeah, so this is the team. We have representatives from GAF from all over the county, and basically every time we have a function, we try and make sure that we support. So thank you very much for the team for everything that you've done. You can be seated. So the glare here is terrible, so it's going to be I should have printed this speech. It's going to be very difficult to read this, so I'm going to just shelve this because of the glare. What I want to say is, you know, AMREF, no need. AMREF came here and spoke and said about SDG 17. SDG 17 is about partnerships, how we all come together, partner to do something good. And today, everybody that's sat here today, I want you to know that you've done something good. There's screening going on as we're sitting here, and there will be patients that will be identified, that will be taken in to theater. So I want to thank all the doctors. You know, Kenyatta National Hospital, I have been here since before I became an elected member of parliament. And for me, I celebrate every doctor, every nurse, every administrator. I mean, sometimes I call the CEO in the middle of the night and I say, I have a patient somewhere, I need help, and they pick up their phone and they work. And you know, one of the things that makes me so proud as I stand here, Dr. Serem, you were talking about how 10 years ago you were together and you were training here, you even recognized where you were staying. I mean, these are Kenyans. You know, I want all those Kenyans that are out there that are studying, take your education seriously. Do not think about, you know, we have this negativity in our country right now where we think everything about Kenya is bad. I want to say that everything about Kenya is good and it's going to get better. This is good, that we can be at the Kenyatta National Hospital. We can have over 60 women that have gone through surgery. We have 10 doctors that have been trained on fistula. We need doctors. We've recognized that we need doctors in all the 47 counties. We need more of the students that are doing medicine to take this education serious, to take that sponsorship sponsorship that they're getting through help, serious, to actually love their country and understand that though we have challenges, we have wins. You know, I keep thinking that if you wake up in the morning and you want to pray to God, and you want to say to God that I want something from you, and before you ask God for the thing that you want, all you're going to do is complain about everything that goes wrong in your life. By the time you finish complaining and you come to ask God for the thing that you want, I think God himself will be also exhausted. This one has not even said thank you for anything. I thank God that we have a peaceful country. I thank God that we have a president that is dedicated and hardworking to serve this nation. It is not easy. We all have households that we are running, and we know how difficult it is to manage our own households. We know how difficult it is to manage our own selves. Yourself, you know, sometimes you look at your life and you think, am I managing my life well? And you know that you have challenges managing yourself. And then we have this one man called William Samoei Ruto, who is our president. And he's working tirelessly to hold it all together. And what I like about the president is his resilience. He talked about Kenyans being resilient. But it's not just Kenyans who are resilient. He is also resilient. No matter what we say to him, he continues to work to serve this nation. And it's not an easy job. So for me, I want to just say from a point of gratitude, as I stand here in Kenyatta National Hospital, Dr. Joel and your entire team, and you're representing your CEO today, thank you, asante sana. KNH is supposed to be celebrated. I know that KNH, by the way, Dr. Serem, I really want you to look into KNH. You know, when I was in the health committee in the last parliament, one of the things that I was so guilty of as a Mheshimiwa is always calling the CEO and saying, please release this patient. Haezi kulipa, then social services will take care, atakuwa released, atasema atalipa 1,000 shillings every month, na hutamuona tena. So I know that there's a huge debt that we owe for write-off. And that debt that we owe KNH for write-off is what can make KNH become even more efficient. So whether we are paying it, whether we put it in the budget, I think that's something we should look into. We need to give them that money. And then when it comes to increasing the number of doctors to address fistula and any other reproductive health concern, I think it's important for us to identify those that can actually be taken through a system. Because when I hear about the doctors, even for oncology that we don't have enough specialists. And we need them because society is always going to get sick. As our population grows, that will happen. But for me today, I am so proud that God has given me this position where I can come here and I can be part and parcel of a day to celebrate and recognize a day where women have been given a chance to have a dignified life. Nifa and Sharon, sharing your stories, that was so bold. I mean, coming here and telling us what you went through. First of all, I want to say poleni sana. But at the end of the day, you conquered. You conquered and you won. You know, I was sitting there and I was thinking, you know what, we're calling them survivors, or at least we're not calling them victims. But they're, we call cancer survivors warriors, but you're conquerors, And the CHPs, Dr. Serem, you mentioned about CHPs being educated about fistula. So when they go door to door, they can actually identify that this problem that you have is fistula and bring you here. KNH has a clinic every Monday where you can come in, and SHA is paid for your treatment when it comes to fistula. The husbands out there, this woman was giving birth to your child, bringing forth life. Then something happens, fistula develops in her for whatever reason, whether it was a long labor, whether it was a surgical error, whatever, fistula happens, okay? And wear and tear, maybe she had too many children and there was wear and tear. But at the end of the day, when your wife is emitting urine, stool, the house is smelling, the neighbors are getting a bit, wary, and then you run off and leave her alone in that suffering. That's what happened to Sharon. Nifa's husband was different. He decided to stay. In the ward today, we saw one man as well who's sticking by his wife. At the end of the day, there is solutions today. And there is hospitals that are providing this under SHA. What I can say to all the Kenyans out there, please register with SHA, pay your subscription. Know that when you're unwell, the more of us that join SHA, the more ability we'll have as a country to move forward towards universal health care. You know, we need to, Dr. Serem said, we need to leave no one behind. And this is just one area of reproductive health concern. Another area, Dr. Serem, I want to talk about is population. I cannot stand here and not talk about population. Africa keeps boasting about the 70% youth, the bulging youth. But the thing is, families have to be planned. We have to plan our families. You cannot go and have 5 children. I keep telling people when I'm out there, you can have sex and you can enjoy sex. But you don't have to have a child just because you had sex. You have to have a child because you have sat down and discussed it with your husband. This is our budget. Let's have 2 children. Let's have 3 children. Let's have 4. But you know, children are expensive. Life is expensive. So when you have unplanned children, then we have the ripple effect and the repeat circular happenings towards poverty. So we need to be able to plan our families. And people say to me that, you know, at the end of the day, children come from God. Yes, but plan your child. I keep saying that God was the master family planner. When God was making a woman and her cycle, he put some days, 2 weeks in between, where a woman can actually have sex and not get pregnant. But at the end of the day, right, we have sex Monday to Friday, 365, 24/7. Unplanned, we need commodities. We need education. We need civic. Because I saw a woman in Kilifi who had 11 children. And she said, had I known that I could actually plan my family, I would not have had 11 children. And she was giving a testimony about her children. 3 died from crime. 2 were in jail. None of them finished school. All of them are living in abject poverty. And then the cycle repeats. All right? And as we grow older, we become now the ones who have to look after our parents. Then families can have challenges. You can have a child with disability, right? You can have a family member who has accidents or has terminal cancer. At the end of the day, life becomes expensive. So we need to plan our families. I've had people telling me, Mheshimiwa, unatuambia tufanye family planning, nani atakupigia kura? I mean, you can't have a child because a community wants to have more votes. You cannot. You have to have a child because you can afford. You know, we're not a socialist country where everything will be provided by serikali. If we're going to provide everything by serikali, we need to tax the ones who are paying taxes over 80%, right? I know we keep singing and dancing about corruption. Yes, we do have corruption. But even if we eliminate all the corruption, the population has to be planned. And Kibaki, President Kibaki, who was a Catholic, understood that we need to plan our families. Tom Boyer in the 60s, when the BBC interviewed him after independence and asked him, what do you want to do for your country? He said at that time, we had only 5 million people, that we need to plan our population in relation to our resources. So everybody needs to think family planning, because if we don't, then we're going to end up with more people that we can't sustain. I keep thinking right now, if Kenya had a population of 30 million, would we have the crisis that we have today, with unemployment, with desperation, with crime, with drug and substance abuse, with mental health? You know, so we need to plan our families. And as we plan our families, then we grow a prosperous Kenya, all right? There comes a time that we turn it around and say, now we need to have more children. It's all a matter of planning. So I'd love to see Dr. Serem, the Ministry of Health, working with UNFPA on family planning, right? So people understand it's not denying them to have a child. You know, there's that song by Sauti Sol that says, "Akitumwa analetwa na kisahani yake." Me, I've not seen any child leaving the hospital with plates of food. They leave the hospital and they're worrying about how they're going to get naan and food for that child. So let's educate our people. So today, thank you everyone for being here. God bless you all. God bless Kenya. God bless and keep our president well. Thank you.